Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to make a super easy recipe. This recipe is so easy to whip up, takes very few ingredients, and we are going to be using up that pumpkin that I know everybody is trying to use up because we had Halloween and then after that we had Thanksgiving, and now we are just like, what do we do with all the pumpkin? Well, you can easily roast it and it's going to be delicious, and you can make so many different things, sauces, baked goods, all kinds of stuff. Pumpkin is amazing and super healthy for us. So I'm going to make these really easy pumpkin bites or pumpkin cookies, whatever you want to call them, and they are so easy to make, very delicious and easy to transport, which is why I made it, because I was going to make a pumpkin version of my banana bread, but I decided that I needed something easier to transport to work and I didn't want to put it in a container. I just want a reusable, Ziploc that I use, the silicone ones, throw them in there, they won't fall apart, and I can just eat them on the go. So that's what I did. I just created this little bite, this little cookie, and it worked out perfectly. And I'm going to share that easy recipe with you guys. So let's get into it. Okay, so today I'm going to be using up the pumpkin that I had roasted. I had a small pumpkin and I roasted that up, and this is what I got out of it. It's a pretty big container full. I'm going to be using some of that. And then I ran out of my oat flour, so I have to grind more, but I always have backup regular flour. This is just a brown rice flour. I'm going to be using that. And then baking powder, I have my organic oats. I'm going to be adding that in as well. Vanilla, and then this is the milk that I have on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. It's the almond organic vanilla, but sometimes I just use the regular one, and that one's fine as well. It'll just be a little more flavorful because it'll be double vanilla. But yeah, and then these are the optional guys. This is flax, so I'm going to be using this as my eggs. This is optional. This is going to increase the fat slightly in your baked goods, but I am going to add it in because I do like how they turn out by using it. Also, I'm not the only one eating it. I have my teenagers eating it, and I feel like it's important for them to have it, so I am going to incorporate that. And in individual muffins, this is going to, be for a whole bunch of them. It's not that much added fat. Also, another thing that's optional, and again, I'm using because it's a favorite of my 18-year-old. If I don't add this in, she's going to be sad. This is hemp hearts, because I don't add any nuts or any of that stuff, because again, that will increase the fat content of my baked goods. Also, I'm allergic to peanuts, so anything with peanuts I can't use. So I do add hemp hearts because it gives that nutty flavor and you feel like you're having nuts, but you're not. So I do like that. So there's a tip if you want to keep things nut free. Go ahead and add some hemp hearts because it does add a little bit of that flavor in. So I am going to incorporate that as well. These two things are optional. You do not have to use them. You can use an egg replacer if you want, or you can use, something else. Just look up egg replacers, applesauce, whatever it is that you prefer to use. But I am going to go ahead and use this. So yeah, very simple, just some baking powder that you can get anywhere. So this is a super easy recipe. I do have these old IKEA paper muffin holders, and they're really wide, so they don't actually even fit in my muffin tin. And now I use the silicone muffin things, but I do have these and I don't want to get rid of them. So I'm going to use them up. These are like super old. I mean, we're going back years and years. They've been sitting in my cupboard, so I am going to definitely use them now. So there are probably going to be still some left over. I'm going to have to use them another day as well. But they're holiday, like little ornaments, so I thought that's cute. I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to add my 2 cups of my brown rice flour. So 2 cups going in. Then I have 1 cup of my organic oats. So I have my optional 2 tablespoons of flax-meal. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this. It's going to be warm water, and I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of warm water and just allow it to sit for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and it will thicken up, and then you can go ahead and add that in as well. So that's going to go into the wet ingredients. And again, this is optional, up to you. So I have the hemp hearts, and like I said, this one is also optional, but I am going to throw that in since my daughter really, really likes it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the baking powder. So 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm just going to go ahead and give that a quick little mix. So again, it's the oats, the brown rice flour, I have the baking powder in here, and I have the hemp hearts as well. So if you're going to be adding sugar, you can add it in right now. You can also add it into your wet ingredients. It's up to you. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the wet ingredients ready, and that's just going to be very simple ingredients as well. So I'm going to keep this a little healthier. So I'm going to be using some date paste. I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the Medjool date paste looks like. This is the brand that I have. You can also make your own. So I have even made it with prunes where, you know, you just put it in a processor with a little bit of water and get that going and make a paste. And then you can put it in a container in the fridge and use it. This was just store-bought and it's really easy. This is what it looks like. So that might look delicious to some people and absolutely disgusting to other people. If you don't like dates, then you're not going to like the date paste. This will give it a mild sweet flavor. It's not going to be the same as using some other type of sugar. So this is where you decide what's best for you. So if you know that you're not going to be able to eat it with the date paste, then use regular sugar, and then, or maybe do like as you're transitioning to, you know, better sugar choices, you can decrease the regular sugar and add a little bit more of the Medjool dates to sweeten up your dishes. But again, it can be baby steps. It can't be all or nothing sometimes. So you decide what's best for you. So I have 1 packed cup full of my pumpkin, and this is the pumpkin that I roasted in the oven. It is quite full, so yeah, that's what I'm throwing in, and I'm going to see the consistency and go from there. And let's see, add some milk to this as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that flax. See how it is thickened up? It's sat for a few minutes and it's really thickened up. Sorry, the noise of the bowl. So I have the 1/3 cup of the Medjool paste. Again, you can add more if you want it sweeter, or you can just replace this with regular sugar instead of adding the dates. So dates are very calorie rich, but at least it is a real food source. I feel good about using dates in my diet versus other types of sugars. So I'm trying to transition more to using stuff like this. I was before, and then I started using just the, you know, a lot of the coconut sugars again, and cane sugar, and now I decided I'm going back to using a little bit more of a natural route, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But again, I'm used to not adding that much sugar in my diet. If you are used to a lot of sugar, this may not cut it for you, but try it out and see what you like. It's really sticky. Also a little bit of the pure vanilla extract, about a teaspoon I would say, and then 1/2 cup of milk. You can use whatever milk you have on hand. Again, I'm just using an almond milk, and it's vanilla, but again, use whatever is easy to find. And then I'm just going to give this a quick little mix. So it looks really rich in color. It smells delicious. I'm going to go ahead and add some pumpkin spice, just a sprinkling, add as much as you like, and a little bit of cinnamon, and that is pretty much it for this wet mixture. I like a lot of pumpkin spice, so I'm really being generous with my sprinkles. Then I just have some cinnamon. And then again, give that a little mix. It smells so amazing. Oh my goodness, this pumpkin spice smells delicious. Okay, so I have my dry ingredients that we mixed up before. Again, you can add the spices to this as well. Your cinnamon and your pumpkin spice can go right in here and you can give it a mix. So I know everybody's different. Some people put the dry into the wet. Some people put the wet into the dry. I don't know what the real rule is. I do it both ways depending on what my bowl situation is. This is my big bowl, has my dry stuff. So I'm just gonna make a little well in the middle and throw in my wet ingredients and call it a day and mix it all up. Okay, so now go ahead and mix it all. If you feel like it is too dry, you can go ahead and add more milk. I did use just the half of a cup, but if we feel like we need it, then we are going to add it in. I could have even put a little bit more pumpkin, so that's another option as well. You can add like a cup and a third, or even a cup and a half, and just adjust it and see what it's looking like. So I feel like I need to add a little bit more of the milk. I know bakers everywhere are just like horrified by my techniques here. And then just make sure you get everything nice and incorporated. It is going to be a little bit on the thick side, but you just don't want it to be like too thick. Okay, so this is the consistency. It is quite thick, but you could thin it out a little bit more. So I put in 3/4 of a cup of milk in total, and that seems to be fine for my liking. So let's see how it cooks up. These are optional as well, but again, since the kids are going to be eating it, I am going to add them in. You do not have to add them in, but I'm going to as a special treat. I found white vegan chocolate chips, which like you can never find here ever. So I am going to throw in some, and that way it is a special treat, something different. And I did find them at HomeSense, and they were $6.99, in case you're wondering. And like I said, we don't normally find stuff like that here, just the regular vegan chocolate chips, but the white ones I thought was a special treat, so I'm going to throw that in. It's going to add a little bit of color as well. Okay, so I folded those in. I added about 1/3 of a cup. So again, that is completely optional. You don't have to throw that in. It's going to add more calories and of course sugar. Okay, so let's look at the ingredients. White chocolate, cacao, butter, cane sugar, tapioca, rice syrup, rice powder, vanilla. So not the worst ingredients, but actually I really thought there was a lot more ingredients, you know, a lot of sketchy ones in here. So I'm kind of surprised. But yeah, there's cane sugar, so it is going to be sweeter. So it's up to you if you want to add it in. But I suggest if you're making this for the holidays and you're serving other people, try to make it a little more decadent, because it is the holidays and you want people to have your vegan dishes or your plant-based dishes. So I would say throw them in, throw in the extra sugar if you need to, because it's the holidays. And then when you're making it on your own for yourself, decrease it. Don't add the chocolate chips, you know, add a healthier sugar, and then, you know, go from there. But if you're serving other people, consider just adding them in and add that extra pizzazz. And that way that will encourage them to try more plant-based dishes. So the batter tastes delicious and it smells amazing, so I'm hoping that these turn out really good. Again, you know, I just roll with winging things together and creating these quick and easy recipes with ingredients that are simple and easy. They're in my cupboard, or I have, you know, like this pumpkin I need to use up. That's just what I do. I just wing things. Okay, so all I did was plop them in, and then I'm smoothing them out with my little spatula, and then they're gonna go into the oven. Like I said, these are just leftover paper, muffin paper things that are meant for tins, but like I don't have the tins. I don't even know how I ended up with these, but I'm not throwing them out. So I'm hoping that they're gonna turn out. They're just gonna be really massive, like really wide. So I do have my pretty muffin things that, you know, they would turn out really nice looking, but sometimes I would just rather use up what I have, and I'm sure it will be fine. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just flattening these guys out and see how many more of these I can use up, and that way they're out of my cupboard. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like. They are going to be pretty massive. I think that there's 13. So there's 13 of them, and they're going to be pretty massive, but again, they're not going to be like tall. They're just going to be really wide and hopefully fluff out a bit. But I just flatten them down with my spatula, and that is pretty much it. So let's see if these cook up okay, and that way I'm not wasting my paper cups. So I'm really excited. And again, you can customize the recipe to your liking. Sugar wise, you can customize it, and usually I use brown rice flour or oat flour, but you can use whatever flour, you know, you have on hand, whatever's easy and not too expensive to buy, and I'm sure it will work out. So very customizable. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out. Like I said, it's going to come out really easy from the little paper if that's what you're using, or just make sure that you have a non-stick muffin dish, or line your cookie sheet with parchment and you can just lay your cookies down like that. Either way, these will cook up. They are honestly very, very fuss-free. So I really like the consistency of these bites. They are so delicious. You can make them into smaller little bite-sized pieces. You can make them into more of a cookie like I did. You just need to decrease that time. Just keep an eye on the oven and be mindful if you are making them smaller, you are going to want to cook them for less time. But I really like the consistency, and the house smelled amazing from all the seasonings. They are absolutely delicious, and they worked for transporting to work perfectly. They did not fall apart, and they were super yummy and delicious. And I was able to get home without being starving on the subway because these cookies basically saved me. So thanks so much for being here this week, guys. I hope the recipe is helpful for you. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for being here, and I will see you in the next video.